welcome back to Atkins Low Carb in the Kitchen. My name is Tasha Ultima, Kent's daughter, and continuing on with our Thanksgiving series of recipes, we will be making garlic cheddar biscuits today. Now the key ingredient in our biscuits today is Carbquik. Now you can purchase Carbquik at amazon.com or nettrition.com, and I've been lately finding the better deal at nettrition.com, so I'll leave a link in the description below. Now if you don't like the commercial product, you can go to Jennifer Eloff's Splendid Low Carving for Life, Volume 2, and on page 65 there'll be a homemade recipe for Biscuits. Now, going into our recipe, we've preheated the oven to 450 already, so let's get into our mix. So we have about 2 cups of our Carbquik in here, to which we will want to add about a half cup of cold unsalted butter. Now, you're going to want to work this into a lumpy mix, or until you can't see any more unmixed lumps of butter. So now that we've worked our cold butter into our Carbquik, it'll start to look like this, a coarse meal kind of texture. So now we're going to want to add our other dry ingredients. So we're going to want to add about a half teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese, shredded preferably, a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and just a pinch of salt. So about that much. So you're going to want to stir our ingredients into our already lumpy mix. Now, you might kind of notice that this is a conversion recipe off of the Cheddar Bay biscuits at Red Lobster. So now that we've stirred in our ingredients like so, we're going to want to have a 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, and then about a 1/4 cup of cold water. To which you're going to want to combine to your already dry mix, but don't overwork it. After you start mixing it for a while, it will start to form a dough, and if it's still a little too dry, don't be afraid to just add a little bit more water. For example, as you see here, my dough is still just a little bit too dry. It's not getting as moist or sticking together as much as I like. So I'm just going to add a little bit more water. Not a lot, just a little bit. So then, and what works even better if you want to mix your dough together, if you're not afraid to get a little dirty, just don't be afraid to go in there with your hands and really blend all the ingredients together. It helps if you kind of form your ingredients into a ball too, making sure it gets really thorough. Perfect. So now that we have the dough in a form that we want, not too dry, not too wet, we're going to start making the actual biscuits. Now, I've lined my pan with parchment paper, not wax paper. I've found if you use wax paper, it's going to melt, and that's just going to lead to a big mess. So I would recommend parchment paper. Now, for the biscuits, you want to use about a tablespoon or so, about this big, and you're just going to want to line them up on your paper into little ball forms so you can get that traditional biscuit shape. Perfect! Now that we have our biscuits all lined up and all ready, we're going to put them into the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes each, or at least until they get golden brown. And of course you guys will see the finished product. Thank you for tuning in to this series of Thanksgiving recipes. This has been Tasha Ultima with Atkins Low Carb in the Kitchen.